Hi, everyone. It's good to see you all tonight. Well, I guess I can't see you, but you can see me. So we're just gonna give a couple minutes here to let everyone who is registered for the meeting to join us. So I see that the participants, the number there is climbing. So I do believe that there are around 26 people registered for the meeting tonight, and that includes the ward councillor, Councillor Rietma. So thank you, Councillor Rietma, for being here tonight. And we'll just give a couple more moments here for everyone else to fill in. All right, well, I'm not seeing the number climb any higher here, so perhaps we'll get underway. To begin tonight, good evening and welcome to tonight's neighborhood meeting. My name is Tyler Butler and I'm a planner with the city's Development Services Department. The focus of tonight's meeting will be on the currently proposed application for the development of 5 townhouses with frontage on Blake Street on the properties known municipally as 193 and 197 Blake Street. Please be aware we are recording this meeting for the public, and all information provided is being collected and will be used for the purpose of garnering your input, to respond to inquiries, and to be notified of future meetings, and will be considered public information. Should you have any questions regarding this collection, please feel free to contact the Development Services Department. I would like to let everyone know that there are also staff behind the scenes tonight managing the technology, and they have the ability to interrupt the meeting at any time and will endeavor to allow the applicant and each member of the public the opportunity to speak. Please bear with us if we have any issues. So yes, I believe we had already gone over that there are in attendance tonight. I see that there's 22 participants with us tonight, including Councillor Rietma. So thank you for joining us all tonight. So tonight's meeting is not a statutory requirement under the Planning Act, as this application is in the early stages of the review process. The intent of tonight's meeting is more to provide members of the public with an opportunity to become familiar with the development application and the planning review process, while also asking questions of the applicant and providing them with some feedback. So what can you expect during the virtual neighborhood meeting tonight? Well, you can expect a presentation from the applicant's representative describing the proposal. There will be a brief overview of the city's review and process timing, and you'll also have the opportunity to ask questions of the applicant or city and provide comments or identify any concerns that you may have with the application. What to not expect tonight? Well, you won't hear a recommendation from us, the city, on the application or any sort of detailed analysis on the proposal. This, of course, occurs later in our review process. You will not also hear tonight a debate on the merits of the proposal between the city and the applicant. Once we do move on to the question and answer period, if you do wish to ask a question or provide a comment, you will be required to use the meeting controls to raise your virtual hand. And you can find that raise your hand button in the meeting controls at the bottom of your screen. And if there is anyone who is joining us by traditional phone, you can press 9 to raise your virtual hand. And when called on to speak, you can press 6 to unmute yourself. When you do raise your hand, you will be called to by name to speak. And then once we've identified that, you'll just have to unmute yourself, and then please clearly state your name, your address, and provide your comments or questions. Those that have registered for the meeting tonight by providing a mailing or email address will be added to the mailing list to receive further information about the application. So before we get into the presentations, I just wanted to quickly highlight the next steps in the application process. So we are currently in the initial stages of the process. The applicant has completed a pre-consultation technical review with a variety of internal staff and external agencies, with the expectation that an application will be forthcoming. After tonight's meeting, the applicant will need to incorporate any comments received from this neighborhood meeting and make a presentation through the public meeting process before planning committee, which will be scheduled at a future date once we receive that formal submission. So with that formal submission being reviewed with comments received from the city's technical departments and external agencies, as well as consideration of the public's input, the neighborhood meeting here tonight is established in the early development process to ensure that these local concerns are heard and are incorporated or addressed through our review. So following tonight's meeting and the review of the formal applications, there will be that public meeting that I mentioned before with council scheduled in the future. The public meeting is a statutory requirement under the Planning Act, and everyone who is registered for tonight's meeting, as well as property owners within 120 meters of the subject lands, will be notified of the date of that public meeting. So the public meeting in the future will also be held virtually, similar to tonight's meeting. At the public meeting, the applicants will again present their application to council and again have to answer questions. At the public meeting, applicants generally identify that a neighborhood meeting has been held and provide an overview and a response to the issues and concerns identified in this meeting tonight. Members of the public, of course, will again have an opportunity to provide either verbal or written comments at that future public meeting. So following that, staff will continue the technical review process associated with the applications and may make any necessary revisions to the development proposal. Once the review process has concluded, a staff recommendation report will be brought forward to council for their consideration. All comments received throughout the entirety of the review process, including those tonight and at that future public meeting, will be identified and addressed in the staff report and will form part of staff's recommendation on the subject application. We would expect to see a staff report likely brought forward sometime in 2022 once we receive a formal submission. So with all that formality out of the way, I will now move on to the applicant's presentation. As I mentioned, the application will be presented first, followed by a question and answer period. So tonight is a proposed official plan amendment that would seek to amend the existing general commercial land use designation to residential, and a zoning bylaw amendment to rezone those lands from general commercial to a residential multiple dwelling second density with special provisions. And this proposal, of course, would facilitate the development of 5 townhouse dwelling units with frontage on Blake Street. So I will now hand the meeting control over to James Hunter, who from Innovative Planning Solutions, who will share their presentation on the proposed development.
All right, thank you, Mr. Butler, for the introduction. Good evening, staff, Councilor Rietma, members of the public, and all those in attendance tonight. My name is James Hunter, and I'm a senior planner with Innovative Planning Solutions here in Barrie. Tonight, we're representing the applicant Fenelwick Corp for a townhouse development located at 193 and 197 Blake Street. I will provide a brief overview of the application, and following that, as Mr. Butler mentioned, I will turn it back over to staff for a comment and question period. Thank you all for attending tonight. So the subject properties are 2, located at 193 and 197 Blake Street, shown in a red outline on this slide. They are located at the intersection of Blake Street and Nelson Square East. They do have a frontage of 40 meters along Blake Street and 25 meters along Nelson Square East. The total combined land holdings are 0.1 hectares, 1,028 meters squared, or 0.26 acres. There's a single detached dwelling on the 193 property. And on the 197 property, there's a vacant commercial building. This slide here provides a better aerial overview of the subject lands. This provides a top-down view. You can see the property boundary in red, the existing single detached dwelling, and the vacant commercial building. Again, here's another view just from Blake Street. The subject lands are located in a diverse location. To the north is general commercial. There's a variety of low density residential as well. Low density residential kind of to the east and north, condominium over to the east. Farther to the east are apartment buildings, low density residential to the south. And then the Parkview Community Center and Nelson Square Park over to the west. As many of you know, this is close to the downtown, the waterfront, and the Barrie North Shore Trail also is located to the south, down Nelson Square East of the subject lands. The subject lands are designated general commercial by the City of Barrie official plan, which is Schedule A. And to permit a residential development, we would have to redesignate these lands to residential. Under the residential designation, this does permit all forms and tenure of housing. And the City of Barrie official plan reflects the policies of provincial legislation relating to housing, recognizing that population growth will be accommodated for through mixed new development, redevelopment, and intensification, which is the subject application. And residential intensification is encouraged as it creates more compact development, and this efficiently uses land, resources, services, and infrastructure in the city. To permit a residential development, we will have to do a residential multiple dwelling second density, the RM2 zone, and this would change the land use from the current general commercial C4 zone under the City of Barrie zoning bylaw. The RM2 zone permits a wide variety of residential dwelling types, including townhouses as we have proposed. Right now, based on the current concept plan, we have looked at special provisions for building height and a reduced lot area per unit. However, I will demonstrate that this is conceptual level and this is to be refined through a formal application. So on this slide here, you can see the subject development. What we are proposing are 5 townhouses on 5 lots. So each one would have its own lot. You can see the units in the white. The green is the generous landscape space. Gray represents the driveways along Blake Street. And in this part here is actually a T turnaround for cars so that they can safely come into the driveway and utilize this to safely enter the Blake Street traffic. So this development has been designed with consistent frontage along Blake Street, and it will have 3 parking spaces per unit. So 2 will be in the double wide driveway, plus 1 is proposed within the garage. Conceptual building height of 3.5 stories, and we're looking collectively at a density of 49 units per hectare for the entire development. Generous front yards and rear yards, minimum of 7 meters, so that provides a lot of room for setbacks and landscaping. And then we're also looking at private amenity spaces, such as a rooftop balcony for each unit. The general intent of this plan is to maintain the scale, the character, and orientation of the area. And collectively, we're trying to ensure that this is compatible with the adjacent land uses. On this slide here, you can see rough conceptual elevations of the proposed development. So you can see down Blake Street here, towards the frontage, and then down Nelson Square. The intent of this slide is simply just to show how the building would sit on the street frontage. So each property, or unit, shall I say, will have the driveways into the garage by double wide driveway. And then you can see a 3.5 story building height. This slide here just shows some example designs. The applicant really does want to recognize that this is an older established area. It has a lot of very nice homes, more established, larger homes. And of course, with that comes high quality design. So the goal for our development through the detailed design of the application would be to provide a high quality built form. These are just shown as example renderings of some single detached dwellings in previous projects. So we will have materials and a design that blends in with the area, creating enhanced public realm and the general scale of what's shown in the area today. When we do make a formal application, there's a number of studies that will have to be required. They're detailed assessments, including a planning justification report, urban design brief, a market study, a shadow assessment, detailed engineering through functional servicing and stormwater management reports and plans, geotechnical and hydrogeological, as well as an arborist assessment for boundary trees and those on site. Detailed architectural drawings will be designed, and along with an environmental site assessment for change of land use. So in summary, what our client is proposing are 5 townhouse units located at 193 and 197 Blake Street. In order to permit this, there would be an official plan amendment required to redesignate the lands from general commercial to residential. And I shall add in that this is under the current official plan. In the new official plan, we are designated neighborhood area, which does support this use. So depending on the timeline of our application under the current official plan, we would need an OPA. What we will need is a zoning bylaw amendment to rezone the lands from a commercial land use to the residential multiple dwelling second density, which is the RM2 zone. And collectively, provincial and municipal policy does encourage a full range of housing types through infill development, intensification, and this all supports complete communities, which efficiently utilizes land with focus placed on underutilized parcels, such as the subject lands. And this application would conform with the goals and objectives of provincial and municipal legislation. So I'd like to thank everyone again for coming tonight. That concludes my presentation. I will turn it back over to Mr. Butler. I'll leave this slide up and I'll stay online for any questions that the members of the public or those in attendance tonight may have. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, James, for that presentation.